with technology, our children, our star children, they came into this world knowing what it took us a lifetime to learn.
Oh, I know.
But they have no hands-on skills. My husband's business is custom cabinetry. He's put 33 co-op students through in the last 35 years of business. We have one with us at the present moment. And the 10 employees that he had are not doing it anymore because they don't know how to run a business.
Yes.
They know the hands-on skills,
I know how to do this,
but they don't know how to, the bookkeeping and the everyday work.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And my mother told me to become a bookkeeper and business administration. I'm like, I'm an artist, Mom. I want to be an artist. Now I know why I learned bookkeeping, and I have to thank my mother for that because I can manage every part of the business.
I know. Financial tracking, right?
It is.
Yeah, I know.
If your business is not successful without your bookkeeper and your secretary.
Yeah, you can run any business in the world, but you can't track the finances.
It pulls the whole thing together.
And then revenue. What's that thing?
What's that place called?
Yeah.
Revenue count. Oh, yeah.
You owe like how much? Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And that's why Linda comes into place, right? It's like, okay,
Yes.
what can I do to pay the government less? That's for sure. But I remember my uncle, he owned car businesses and owned like 9 blocks of St. Laurent Boulevard in Ottawa. And he always said that the success of his business was because he had a silent partner that was investing, but he had a chartered accountant.
Yes.
And himself. He was the sale guy, and his accountant handled everything else, you know. And if you have that core group that you can trust with your life, because your money is your life that way, then you can become very successful. And I mean, he had a grade 6 education. And, you know, he learned everything.
That doesn't mean a thing.
It doesn't mean anything back in those days. Now today, that's a different story. I'm a firm believer in post-secondary education. Even if it's the discipline. When I was hiring at Northern Telecom, I was hiring people. The whole point of starting college and finishing was not really what discipline you took, but that you started something.
And you finished it.
Yes.
And, you know, a good employer is going to hire somebody that's maybe a B student because they have some social skills, as well as they have the intelligence. Like some of these A+, you know, super intelligent people have no social skills whatsoever because they've been studying for most of their life. But you know, I think that's all education. Like everybody should go to post-secondary education, even if you don't use that particular discipline in your life. I think that it's a good practice because university, you know yourself, right? Grade school, they hold your hand. High school, they let go of it a little bit. But university, there's no one really other than you that is accountable, right? Swim. Like nobody's holding your hand and pulling you through. And so I think that, you know, that's kind of an important lesson to learn as well, even if you don't use it in the future, right?
I think the one area that people are lacking, if you will, in terms of the education is their social skills.
Yes.
And that's their network.
It's
that's
because of this.
Yeah, that's part
It's
of it.
because of cell phones. Because
and computers.
and computers.
IT, all of it.
Technology is wonderful for helping you get your messages out there or communicating with your children on the other side of the world. But the hands-on skills are what this generation also need to learn, which at my business in Ennismore is I'm teaching how to be creative, how to work with wood, how to paint, how to make that piece of clothing work, how to upholster, you know, just little classes. which are not taught.
It's not taught anywhere, I know. Yeah.
Now, I think the do-it-yourself society has its advantages, but it has
Yes.
its disadvantages.
Yes.
And that is, when I go back to social skills, okay? If they do it themselves, they're not talking to their parents. Like, one of the things that mothers used to connect with their daughters was, if they were raising a child, they would call their mother or go visit their mother and say, I'm having some challenges, okay? Today they go to Google and say,
Yes.
and so that social skill is being lost, okay?
Yes.
How many of us learned things from our grandmothers that we didn't pass on to our kids?
Oh,
you know what I mean?
I
Some do and
Yes.
some didn't, right? Because we were all working, and so and we basically lost those skills as time went on, right? So that generational thing, is being lost, right?
Yeah.
And there's, nothing is more important than the people that you deal with than family and friends. Okay, it's the people that matter. Nothing else. Technology is
Face to
great,
face.
but at the end of the day, okay, what are you going to remember? Are you going to remember, that you went to Florida? No, you're going to remember the time you had in Florida with your friends. That's what you're
and
going
your
to remember.
family.
And your family.
And
right.
sitting down at a table and communicating.
Yes.
Without the phone ringing at the dinner table.
I've seen kids at the dinner table looking at their phone.
Yeah. Well, I don't allow it in my house
Yeah.
because that part stays out of the house.
That's your time.
This is my home. This is our time. Put that away and let's have some communication. How was your day? What did you learn today? Or
Well, we've lost
Interaction.
We've lost the dinner table because
Yeah.
when I was raising my kids,
There we go.
we used to, we'd have hockey, we'd have soccer, we'd have horseback riding lessons. Okay, so we'd come home, we'd drop their stuff off, get them changed for whatever they needed to go to McDonald's, grab a hamburger, and off we'd go.
And they're done that.
And the time that we used to spend sitting at the table, say, how was your day? How was your day, Sandra? We don't do that anymore, right?
No.
Because we have no time, okay? And what we need to do is we need to make the time for the things that matter. People matter.
Well, and they've proven, like, medically, right? A person who lives alone, does live a shorter life.
Sure, yeah.
Because whether you live with someone and it's a sexual relationship or a physical relationship or just a friendship,
Companion. Yeah.
that companionship, just somebody that you walk in the door that gives a hoot about how your day was.
We're herd
Just
animals. Right?
Yeah,
we're
it's
not-
just like, it makes somebody just perk up, when somebody says, how was your day? Did that project work out for you or whatever? And, I always remember being told, don't walk in the door and just start talking. Walk in the door and say, hey, how are you?
Yeah.
With a big smile on your face. Let everybody decompress and then say, did you have a good day? And stuff like that. Don't walk in the door and say, well, what did you pull out for dinner? Like, you've got to be a little bit more just
Considerate?
Compassionate?
yes.
Is compassionate a word? I don't know.
Yeah, I like that word.
Well, I don't know. My
Understanding?
husband had to do a 360 when I took on this job because I work like 12-hour days and I'm never home.
He
so
has to be supportive,
I come
okay?
home. He is, and he's so supportive. I come home. He makes my lunch. He makes my dinner. And he has a job. He's a physical job. He's a contractor, so he has a a really super physical job. But nothing makes me feel more special than when I hear him bustling in the morning while I'm putting on my makeup and he's making my lunch. I just love it because he's been so supportive for me. And, my job is very roller coaster, much of a roller coaster. You have highs and you have lows. And, some people's story really, hits home when they've lost family members or they've had children that have gotten sick. Like, a lot of people don't realize some of their financial challenges have been due to unforeseen circumstances, which is why,
more common than not.
which is why, like, ever since I've been with Freedom 55 with Linda and knowing her, my grandchildren have critical illness. I tell everybody who loves their grandchildren have critical illness on them because I've seen a parent who not a malignant brain tumor, but a brain tumor in a young child. Would you not love to have 50 grand so you can just tell your job, I'm taking a leave of absence and just go and take care of your children? But they don't have that. And then they suffer horrific financial. I've known some, lost their house, lost everything because They needed to take care of their child. And
And
so a lot of those,
management needs to be when financial consideration, risk management needs to be a big player in that scenario.
I finally convinced my daughter through Linda to take life insurance out on children, because everybody's like, oh God, why would you think of death when you've got a baby? You're not. You're thinking of their future.
Thinking of the future, exactly.
You're thinking of their future. You're setting them up for success, like financial success. And that's my big thing, is that when I see people come into my office, sometimes the circumstances are horrible that got them into those credit challenges. They need to be treated with respect. They don't need to be treated like they're less than a member of society because they have bad credit. And people feel that way. When people go through a bankruptcy, it's devastating for them. And I've seen them from 50, 70, 40, 30, and
20,
and that makes that's my passion, is to say, like, to treat them like they deserve to be treated, not because of their circumstance, right? Not because they have bad credit, and not, and let them know that I can be trusted.